In this video, we're going to look at pre-fader audio buses. Hey guys, this is Dr. McFarland and I'm back for another Mixbus 32C video. And just like the last audio buses video, I'm going to show you some concepts that you can use in your session to use audio buses more effectively. And that's not to say that you can't use the mix buses for certain things either, but sometimes an audio bus is just a good thing to have at your disposal, so that way you can utilize certain aspects in the mix. So what I want to do mainly in this video is just concentrate on the bass track. I'm going to send a pre-fader signal from the bass to another bus, and essentially it's like I'm duplicating the bass track without actually having to duplicate the bass track. So let me show you what I mean. So I can easily go in and right click on the bass track and hit duplicate. Okay. So it's going to go in and it's going to make an exact copy of the bass track. And what I can do with this is I can go in and I can EQ it a certain way. I could add whatever processing I want. Let's say I'm going in and I'm adding some distortion kind of stuff. This is what that sounds like. Let me solo this bass track here. Alright, and that's fine. And now if I play the original bass track, this is what it sounds like all by itself. And this is both bass tracks together. Alright, so you can hear that I can blend in a certain amount of distortion into the other track. And then I can send both of those bass tracks to the bass bus. That shows up right over here. And there's my bass mix bus right there. I can go in and I can further process both of those at the same time. On this one I have like a multi-band compressor that's doing a certain thing. Alright, so that's an example of simply just duplicating a track. Alright, so now let's actually make an audio bus. So buses, we're going to call this Bass NYC for New York style compression or just parallel processing in general. We'll make it before selection, and there we go. Now what we need to do is right click, new aux send, Bass NYC, and we can do shift click, and that's going to bring it to 0. And now to make it pre-fader, look what we have to do. We have to drag it and make it pre-fader. So what this is going to do, even if I have this fader down, you're still going to get signal to the level. So let me show you what happens here. Okay, let me go back, and if I put it after the fader, it's going to do this. Okay, notice you don't hear anything until I bring up the fader. Okay, you can do this for all kinds of things like reverbs, delays, just any kind of send that you want to be pre-fader that is not going to get in the way of what I'm adjusting on the original track. Okay, so once again, go back before the fader, so it's pre-fader. Now let's treat this as its own bass track. Okay, and we are going to take this out of the master and send it to the bass mix bus, so that way they're both being sent at the same time. And I can group these together like so. So once I get the adjustment that I want, then I can just turn on the group and I can move those up or down, whichever way I want. Or I can always go back to my mixer view and just look at the bass mix bus and move that up or down, add compression, do more processing over here to both tracks at the same time, whatever you want to do. All right. So let's go ahead and add in a plugin here. All right, so we're going to right click, new plugin by creator. Let's do some Klanghelm and let's do some dirt. So let's turn the drive all the way up and let's just make it gnarly. Okay, here we go. All right, there's the original and there's the processed. All right, let's do another step farther. All right, let's bring in the bass character plugin and let's bring down the highs. Let's bring up the lows and let's see what that does. Make sure the distortion is after the EQ. So we were getting lots of bass there. Alright, so let's listen to the track and let's bring in the parallel bass track as we listen. And let's go to the chorus. Okay, check this out. So what you're hearing there is really just adding more definition to the bass overall. And we can make it even more gnarly if we wanted to and add lots of grid and a bunch of other stuff. But that's a good way to add any kind of parallel processing to tracks that you're already using. I could do the same thing for the electric guitars. If I want to send all the electric guitars to its own bus and then do some parallel processing that way, or just some separate processing and then send all that to a Mixbus. That's a fine way of doing it as well. So now let's take a Rhodes keyboard and let's send it to, let's say, a reverb. So we're going to go back up the track. We're going to add another bus. And we're going to call this reverb. And now we're going to click on the track, right click, new aux send, reverb. And then let's make it pre-fader. And let's actually add a reverb plugin. I like using Valhalla Room. And we'll just make it totally crazy sounding. So we'll do like Mount Doom. Because why not? It's only 15 seconds of reverb, folks. We'll make that before the fader as well. And check this out. Here we go. Alright, so notice that we can take the dry signal totally out. We can just have the wet, or we can play around with whatever balance that we want. I can send this reverb and I can pan it to the left, and I can take the dry and pan it to the right. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, I can also go in and add some automation. Let's do some fader automation. And let's just hit D. We're going to put in some points here. And let's say we bring this down, and this is going to be up like that. I have no idea what I'm doing here, but it doesn't really matter. And so now we can mess with like the levels of reverb going in and out. Okay, so check this out now. All right, guys. So obviously you can get really crazy with this, but just know that whether you have it pre-fader or post-fader, it's just another way of sending an exact duplicate to another location. It's where you can do different processing, and then you can send both of those tracks to its own mix bus so it can be processed together before it goes to the master. So thanks guys for watching. If you have any other suggestions for videos like this, please leave a comment down below. I would love to explore more options as far as audio buses combined with mix buses and just processing things in totally different ways. So I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking.